Hi, everyone. This is Allstate Roadside. I'm Mike Farmer here with Paul Stevens. Paul, what is the operator's responsibility when it comes to bed covers and other aftermarket accessories?
Hi, Mike. So that's actually a good question. It ultimately comes down to the securement of those items and whether they're hanging off or properly secured or properly attached. Most of those are installed by aftermarket companies or installed by the customer. They're going to need to photograph it, but they also have to check securement. And that means visually or physically checking it. Walk up and grab the tonneau cover on both corners at the rear and make sure that it's not going to come open. If that thing is unlocked, or even if one of the unlocks is undone, wind or air can get underneath there, lift that thing right off the truck. Same thing with the vent shades or the visor that's on the front, or even if it has a bug shield on it, same situation. You want to physically and also visually inspect it. Because ultimately the provider is responsible for anything that's on their vehicle.
Oh, great. Okay. So can you maybe walk us through just real quickly, how would you communicate that conversation and inspection with the customer?
Yeah, so communication's important. You want to have that conversation with the customer and explain to them, hey, listen, these are aftermarket items. They've been attached to the vehicle, usually not by the manufacturer, so I just want to inspect them. You don't want to walk up and grab a hold of them and start pulling on them to rip them right off the car or something, but you want that customer to understand, hey, I'm going to need you to check this tonneau cover and make sure you have both locks locked, or I'm going to need to inspect this tonneau cover and make sure it's not going to fly up when we're going down the road or something.
And how's that different from when it's an unattended tow?
So when it's unattended, you definitely want to physically check it yourself, these items. Don't pull hard enough that you pull it off the vehicle, but just stick your hand on there and touch the item. And if you can't physically touch it yourself, make sure you photograph it or at least video it and have a clear understanding. But definitely on a tonneau cover, you always want to reach around the back there and try and pull up on it, because a lot of people leave them unlocked. And if they do lock them, they only lock one side. So remember, you're the responsible party, and you're the one who has to make the decision as a professional. Do I load this from the front or do I load it from the rear? Do I pull it out of a parking place or out of the area that it's in and load it from the front? Or am I comfortable with towing it, from the rear? But make sure that you always verify that the item is secure before you load it.
That's great. Thanks, Paul Stevens. I really appreciate that. Anyone listening in, if you have any questions that you'd like to have addressed, just email them into arseducate@allstate.com. Thanks for listening. See you next time.